Welcome to Insomnia Insight number 448, in which we will talk about those sore, itchy, maybe red, uh, dry eyes that we so often have when we struggle with sleep. And as so many of these episodes, this one comes from me getting so many questions about these eyes. I get a lot of questions about this, and I want to start here. And nothing that I say here is medical advice. Anyone who's concerned about their health in any way, of course, talk to your doctor. But again, this said, it is very, very common to experience like these dry, itchy, uncomfortable discomfort from the eyes in the context of struggling with sleep. And so in this video, we'll talk about why that is and how we can meet this situation if it occurs. I pondered this, like, why is this so common? And I came up with two, three, one, maybe depending on how you define it, this is maybe three reasons or maybe just one reason. But anyway, came up with some things that I think can explain this. And one is that our eyes are they're very sensitive organs for natural reasons, right? They're very important to us, so it is important that they're sensitive, so that even if it's a minor thing, we want to be sure we're safe, right? We don't want our eyes to be hurt, so they are sensitive. And so I think in two ways this can explain why we often have so much discomfort from our eyes when we sleep a little. And one is that irritation from dryness could be more pronounced there. So let's say we are awake more a certain night, then perhaps our eyes are open. Our eyes are in fact open more, right? Which could make them maybe less lubricated than they would have been if we were sleeping, and they can perhaps be more irritated. And I was thinking if that happened to some other part of our bodies, like our elbows, if our elbows are a little more dry, they're not that sensitive. Maybe we wouldn't even think about it. But if our eyes become more dry and irritated, they are so sensitive that we recognize it, we feel it, right? So that could be a reason. And B here, looking at it from a little different angle. In A, we saw that maybe there's sort of truly physical things happening, and B, it could be that when we are hyper aroused, when we are scared, when our alertness is at a higher level, we perceive things through all our senses more readily. When we're scared, we hear things we wouldn't normally hear, we see things we wouldn't normally take notice of, etc. And so when our brain is in the state of fear, is actively looking for things that could be like a danger, a threat. And when it scans our bodies, it could very easily be that our brain takes notice of something that happens in our eyes, because it's naturally so sensitive that there's often something we feel in our eyes, and that can be the focus of like, oh, what's this? What's going on here? What's going on with my eyes? Something is wrong. So the hyper arousal, I think, could lead to us really taking notice of things happening in our eyes because of that, their sensitive nature. So there was kind of two reasons why eyes being very sensitive can lead to us feeling discomfort from them when we are sleeping little. One is from irritation, dryness, and one is more from the hyper arousal, right? And then the second thing I thought about was this: there's this cultural connection between the eyes and sleep, at least in the Western world. Please let me know if you're from another part of the world where there isn't the case, or it is the case. I mean, that would be really interesting. But definitely wherever I've lived, there's been this connection between like the bags under the eyes, like, oh, I have these bags under my eyes, clearly I didn't sleep. And I'm not in any way like dismissing this, or I'm not saying that this is true or this is untrue, but I'll say that this cultural connection definitely exists. And we have had many guests on the channel who said that they struggled for years and nobody could see it, right? Nobody could see it. So I'm not 100% sure it is true, for sure. I'm not denying it either, but I'm saying this correlation exists. So it's very easy to see that when we had a struggle with sleep, our attention goes to our eyes. And when our attention goes to our eyes, we can often find things that we wouldn't have found otherwise, which can lead to some sort of extra discomfort, extra irritation, etc. So those were just really some broad thoughts here. So we've seen that having discomfort from the eyes, it is very common when we struggle with sleep. And my main point here is actually that knowing this, again, nothing medical advice here. Always talk to your doctor if you're concerned about your eyes, but knowing that it is very common to feel discomfort, soreness, red eyes, itchy eyes, things like that when we struggle with sleep, in itself can often reduce the discomfort. So often when we find that, aha, other people have this too, it's not just me, there's nothing strange or unusual about this, that alone can often be so helpful. So that kind of was the main thing I wanted to convey today. As always, let me know in the comments what you thought here. Curious to hear your thoughts, and if you experienced this or have anything more to share that could help the community, I would love to hear that again in the comment section. So thanks for being here. Look forward to having you here soon. Bye-bye for now.